So I'm glad to have you back with another vlog here. Filipina and the Foreigner, depending on which channel you're watching. That's our main channel, Filipina and the Foreigner. We have about 7 channels. Some are more active than others, but you can find all our channels on beautifulbabylove.com. So hopefully you'll check out beautifulbabylove.com and find out all our video information right there. Well, today Filipina has left me again. She left me. Well, she's just gone up the road a few hours to CDO and then on to Butuan as she's seeing her son off. He's traveling back to where his home is, and she wanted to make sure he is safe and sound along the journey, so she's on a bus ride with him today. Meanwhile, while I'm here, I was thinking about something myself and Mahal were talking about, my Filipina. We're talking about perhaps putting an Airbnb on her property. She has some property here in the Philippines, and we thought, hey, you know what? Maybe we could put an Airbnb, and maybe even some of our subscribers or some foreigners may like to rent our Airbnb. We'll just make kind of a small, quaint Airbnb, you know, will suffice you for a nice little visit and give you some shelter and keep the costs down. Give it a try. And then we were thinking about, okay, how can we make it fairly cost efficient? Because as you can see, a house being built behind us right here where we're currently staying, that's a quite expensive place that they're making there. And of course, using the typical concrete build. That house is just, you know, being built. It's underway, so it might not look like a lot happening right there right now, a lot to it, but that's an expensive place over there. Lots of concrete. And that's actually the second house. On the opposite side of that, you'll see a finished home already built. So it's, I guess, a family maybe, perhaps, and it's 2 houses that they're making for their family. Anyhow, quite an expensive event there. You can see I'm holding the light in front of my face because if I don't, I kind of disappear into a silhouette, sort of. So I'm holding a light right here. Make it a little bit more presentable, I guess, for a video. What you do on YouTube. I'm not a professional. We're just, you know, just throwing out our videos. We enjoy making them, and some helpful information we hope along the way as well. This today is talking about a cheap house build, in the Philippines. And this is our suggestion as we've been thinking about it ourselves. The typical way is like behind me here. It's the concrete build, very expensive with all that concrete. So there's another way that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, although, you know, there are some, but I don't really hear much talk about it. It's the metal cladding. Now, of course, put in the comments your opinions and suggestions, and people far more knowledgeable than me about metal cladding and vice versa, you know, with the concrete, and put, you know, your pros and cons of both. But in our research, the metal cladding is a good option, and I'm going to insert a little video of some details I found online, some 6 points talking about the pros of metal cladding. So I'm going to insert that along the way, and maybe that might help with your opinion, wondering about metal cladding. But yeah, that's what we were thinking. Maybe perhaps putting a little home that we'll build with metal cladding. We've already checked into the price range, and it seems pretty decent. I'll try to show you some clips of the land that it's not fully cleared yet, but we've got most of the trees cut down already. Just going to try to get those trees hauled away, and then turn the property into a little bit of a hopeful park-like setting. And then we have some example homes that we could put on the property. Now, these example homes, they don't really show the metal cladding, but it can be basically this design that I'm showing you. Hopefully showing you now in this video. I have to insert it in the editing, but hopefully I'll move me over to the side here so you can see a typical kind of house that we're looking at to put on the property. And instead of the concrete that you might see on the design of this house that we're showing you here now, we'd have the metal cladding. So I'm just going on about the metal cladding because the pricing factor, when we checked into it, the builder designer that we checked into said they could actually do this kind of a design that we're showing you in this design here for about anywhere from 200,000 Philippine pesos to 300,000 Philippine pesos. And it makes a nice little property for that amount. And if you do the conversion in your own money for your own country, you find that 200,000 to 300,000 Philippine pesos is not very much. In fact, in Canadian, it's just around about 7,000 Canadian dollars. And in US, that's about 5,000 or 5,100 US dollars. So, you know, pretty decent for a nice little tiny home. I guess you could call it that too, a tiny home. And that's what you can do with the metal cladding and the design that I've been showing you in this video. So it's worth checking into. And if you're a foreigner coming over here and maybe you're connected with your Filipina, you can get some pretty decent prices on some land over here and get a metal cladding home built with a typical type design that we're showing you, at least from what we checked into, for about this price range. And that's 300,000 Philippine pesos that I'm comparing the 7,000 Canadian or 5,000 US to. So if you're looking at the 200,000 version, if it can be, and that's what we were told, between 200,000 and 300,000. So if you're looking at the 200,000 version, that would be lower again, of course, lower than 7,000 Canadian, lower than 5,100 USD. So these are some thoughts to think about. And when talking about the cost to build in the Philippines. So another option anyway, something to think about. And I'd love to hear your 2 cents worth, as well as maybe you have even more knowledge about building, and especially building a cheap home that's still pretty decent, you know, that someone can stay in or live in or whatnot. So I'll segue now to that information I was mentioning about the information online talking about the metal cladding home, and they had some 6 points here to go over. This page here I thought I would insert because you may like to check it out as well. It's the benefits of metal cladding. A lot of people not seemingly talking about this. Not that I have noticed anyway. Maybe you have noticed it, but I haven't noticed a lot where we are here in the Philippines. A lot of people mainly focus on the concrete, and I understand it's a really great way to make your home with the concrete. But not everybody can afford that concrete setup, so metal cladding is another option. So this web page here, it's called metalexponents.com, and this is on their, I think, the blog page. So if you type in 6 benefits of metal cladding, I'll try to remember to put a link to this page in case you want to check it out in detail. But it reminds us that maybe you'd like to check out the metal cladding for building a house, which would be much, much cheaper than using the concrete way of making a house. And just to touch on some of the points here, what are the benefits of metal cladding? You see points 1 through 6: better durability, fire resistant, eco-friendly, low maintenance, decorative, and improved insulation. So if you want to go to this article, of course, you can check out all the information. I'm just scrolling past it just to let you see that they have a wonderful article here about it. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because we have a piece of land here in the Philippines, and we were thinking of maybe making a cheap little home on the property and using it perhaps as an Airbnb. And that might be one option to make a home that's, relatively cost efficient or cost effective or cheap, however you want to say it, and at the same time look nice and still be durable, and all these points that we just mentioned here. And this was one of the factors here that caught my attention. It says improved insulation. I never thought that would be a thing with the metal cladding, but it says in this article, if you want to believe this article, but it says improved insulation with the metal cladding. It says it's an excellent choice to improve your building's thermal or even acoustic insulation properties. That was a surprise to me. It says that it means that the building can maintain a cool temperature during hot weather, which is the case over here in the Philippines. So you can maintain a cool temperature during this hot weather condition. And it says alternatively, metal cladding can also prevent excessive heat from escaping, especially under cold weather. So that's for another climate, of course. So metal cladding certainly worth looking into and checking out. Our thought right now would be to perhaps make it like this design for an Airbnb, and put it out to you guys. Maybe you'd like to come and stay on our property. Who knows? Anyway, just some thoughts there about, a cheap cost home, a cheap build house here in the Philippines. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you will check out some of our other channels and videos. Again, beautifulbabylove.com is where you'll find all our links. Please go to that link and check out all our channels. And we'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to all our channels. We also have the donate button there on the website as well, which goes right into Mahal's bank account, Philippines bank account, and she helps so many people with that. She really does. Thank you for those already who have given. We appreciate it. God bless you.